In the very rear of a vehicle, on a jerry-built bunk, was a blue sleeping bag that appeared to have something or someone inside it. Although, says Samuel, it was hard to be absolutely sure. I stood on a stump, reached through a back window, and gave the bag a shake. There was definitely something inside it. But whatever it was didn't weigh much. It wasn't until I walked around to the other side and saw a head sticking out that I knew for certain what it was. Chris McCandless had been dead for 2.5 weeks. Christopher Johnlin McCandless was born in Inglewood, California, and spent his early childhood in El Segundo, California. He was the elder child of Billy McCandless and Walter Walt McCandless, and had a younger sister named Corrine, born in July of 1971. In 1976, the family relocated to Annandale, Virginia, where McCandless's father was hired for an antenna specialist for NASA. McCandless's mother worked as a secretary for Hughes Aircraft. Corrine McCandless alleged in her memoir, The Wild Truth, that her parents inflicted verbal and physical abuse upon each other and their children, often fueled by her father's alcoholism. She cited in their abusive childhood, as well as his reading of Jack London's The Call of the Wild, as the motivating factors in her brother's desire to disappear into the wilderness. Walt and Billy go on to deny these allegations. In 1986, McCandless graduated from W.T. Woodson High School in Fairfax, Virginia. During the summer, he traveled to Southern California and reconnected with relatives and friends. While there, McCandless learned that his father has lived for a time in a bigamous union with his second wife. Within page 166 of Into the Wild, John Krakauer speculated that this discovery may have had a profound impact on McCandless. McCandless graduated from Emory University in May 1990 with a bachelor's degree in a double majors of history and anthropology. After graduating, he donated his college savings of over $24,000 to Oxfam and adopted a vagabond lifestyle under the alias Alexander Supertramp, working when necessary as a McDonald's cook and a farmhand. An avid outdoorsman, McCandless completed several lengthy wilderness hiking trips and paddled a canoe down a portion of the Colorado River before hitchhiking to Alaska in April of 1992. In April 1992, McCandless hitchhiked from South Dakota to Fairbanks, Alaska. McCandless was last seen alive at the head of the Stampede Trail on April 28th by a local electrician named Jim Gallion. Gallion, who had given McCandless a ride from Fairbanks to the start of the rugged track just outside the small town of Healy, later said he was seriously concerned about the safety of McCandless after noticing his light pack, minimal equipment, meager rations, and obvious lack of experience. Gallion said he had deep doubts about Chris's ability to survive the harsh and unforgiving Alaskan bush. Gallion offered Chris a detour to Anchorage to buy him suitable equipment and supplies. However, McCandless ignored Gallion's persistent warnings and refused his offers of assistance. In the end, he accepted a pair of extra tufts, 2 sandwiches, and a packet of corn chips from Gallion. Gallion dropped McCandless off, believing he would head back towards the highway within a few days as hunger set in. After hiking along the snow-covered Stampede Trail, McCandless came upon an abandoned bus 28 miles west of the town Healy, alongside an overgrown section of the trail near Denali National Park. For McCandless's equipment, he had 10 pounds of rice, a Remington nylon 66 semi-automatic rifle with 400 rounds of 22 long rifle hollow point, a number of books, including one on local plant life, some personal effects, and a few items of camping equipment. Self-portrait photographs and journal entries indicate he foraged for edible plants and hunted game including porcupines, squirrels, and birds such as ptarmigans and Canadian geese. On June 9, 1992, McCandless illegally stalked and shot a moose. However, the meat spoiled within days after he failed in his efforts to preserve it. McCandless would experience profound regret as a result of this experience, expressing in a journal entry, "I now wish I had never shot the moose, one of the greatest tragedies of my life." McCandless's journal documents 113 days in the area. In July, after living in the bus for a little over 2 months, he decided to head back to civilization, but the trail was blocked by the impassable Taglanica River, swollen with late summer runoff from the Cantwell Glacier. McCandless did not have a detailed topographical map of the region and was unaware of the existence of an abandoned, hand-operated cable car that crossed the river half a mile downstream from where he had previously crossed. At this point, McCandless headed back to the bus and re-established his camp. He posted an SOS note on the bus stating, "Attention possible visitors. SOS. I need your help. I am injured, near death, and too weak to hike out. I am all alone. This is no joke. In the name of God, please remain to save me. I am out collecting berries close by and shall return this evening. Thank you, Chris McCandless." August. McCandless's final written journal entry, noted on day 107, simply read, "Beautiful blueberries." Days 108 through 112 contained no words and were marked only by slashes. And on day 113, there was no entry. The exact date and time of his death are unknown. Near the time of his death, McCandless took a picture of himself with a written note which read, "I have had a happy life and thank the Lord. Goodbye and may God bless all." On September 6, 1992, a group of hunters who were looking for shelter for the night came up on the converted bus where McCandless had been staying. Upon entering, they smelled what they thought was rotting food and discovered a lump in a sleeping bag in the back of the bus. The hunters radioed police, who arrived the following day. They found McCandless's decomposing remains in the sleeping bag. It is theorized that he died from starvation approximately 2 weeks before his body was found. As Gallion mentioned before, there was a great concern about McCandless's safety, for the lack of equipment and the lack of knowledge on the Alaskan wilderness. Chris had put more of his heart than his brain into the equation of survival. As for the fury of starvation, Chris had consumed the seeds of Hedysarum alpinum. There had been multiple studies on the seeds collected from bus 142 and how it could have crippled McCandless. From a toxic alkaloid called swansonine to an amino acid called oxalodiamine propionic acid, abbreviated as ODAP. The seeds would be relatively harmless to someone who was well nourished with access to a normal diet, but would be toxic to someone who was malnourished, physically stressed, and on an irregular and insufficient diet, as McCandless was. Journal entries state that he was extremely weak and had much trouble to stand up, a sign of neurolaphorism, a form of muscle paralysis from ODAP poisoning. In the end, Chris had passed away within his encampment in Fairbanks Bus 142. It is not known if he died peacefully or in pain, but 25 years later, he continues to inspire thousands around the world. As for the best case scenario, McCandless could have decided with Gallion to get ample gear needed for Alaska. Furthermore, going on the Organization of Alaska's website shows an article of recommended gear for backpacking in Alaska, with a mention of navigation and communication tools. Another way Chris could have prepared better, that might have gone against his ideology, is to pack less books, or books that are necessary for the situation, such as a local plant guide book he had. I want to end this video with giving my condolences to the McCandless family and to John Krakauer for writing a captivating narrative surrounding the life of Christopher McCandless. For those who are interested in outdoor adventures or hiking within Alaska, it is a good idea to review the article Haley Johnston wrote on the Alaska.org website, the Alaskan Backpacking Gear List.